Hey, what's up, y'all, and welcome back to On Your Mental. This is the podcast that shares candid, open, and sometimes vulnerable conversations between and about men. And today I have with me my friend Shandy. We got Kabir, and we're talking about anxiety. So I ain't even gonna fuck around. I'm just gonna get right to it. If you're not already, make sure that you're subscribed to the channel. That way you know when new episodes are coming out. But we got a new episode every Monday, and I'll see y'all again at the end of the episode. Peace. First off, welcome Shandy to the podcast. Welcome to On Your Mental. Oh my god. This is now all the girls. We've had all the four of you. All the women in Richmond.
Saving the best for last.
Best for last, absolutely. Well, you're always so busy too.
I know. I worked a crazy week.
Yeah. How's the nurse life treating you?
So last week, starting on Sunday, I worked a night shift. I was off for a day, had to switch back to day shifts, did 2 days, day off, 2 days, 1 day off, back for a day yesterday, and then now I'm off. So.
Wow. A lot of work.
Too much work.
How do you, do you find it,
How many hour shifts?
12.
Yeah.
Holy fuck. That's a good question.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Really? Rough. And then, why does that happen to everybody where it bounces back and forth between a night and then a day and then back and forth like that?
So a regular nurse's schedule is 2 days, 2 nights, and then 4 or 5 days off. But since I don't have a full-time line and I'm still casual, I choose when I want to work and then I just pick up here and there.
Right.
This week was a bunch of swaps because I wanted some time off. So it kind of just worked out that way. I was like, whatever, I'll just do it. And I know I can do it. But then once I do it, I'm like, I'll never do that again.
Yeah. Always. It's like drinking. No, yeah. I'm never going to do it again. There's no way I'm going to go out again. And then you're there next week.
Yeah. You always hate yourself for picking up that random shift, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, I know you need the money.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Pain is temporary.
Victory
is forever. Yeah, and you sleep when you're dead, as Seb
exactly
says. Yeah, classic.
No.
But it sucks though. There's no good balance. Before we get into today's topic, so we're going to be talking for everybody listening and watching. Today we're going to be talking about anxiety and dating. Not exclusively in dating. If we have examples of day-to-day anxieties in our lives, and cool, we'll talk about it. I want to point out that we're not talking about a clinical diagnosis of anxiety. We're talking about what it feels like to just feel anxious in these day-to-day moments that everybody's going to experience, right? In particular, in the context of relationships and how that presents itself then. But before we get into the topic, I have to update everybody about my nails. So I'm going to get closer to the camera this time because it was not possible to see very well last time. So give me a moment. I'm going to stand up.
Wow.
Other hand.
I don't know how they're the same thing.
Oh.
I can't, whatever. Anyways, this time, and I'll put up a photo of the album, I went still to Cath as well. Seb got his nails done again as well. And he got evil eyes and a spider web and then lightning bolts on it and stuff.
Oh, I don't think I've seen that one. The last thing I saw, I think, was the hot Cheetos.
Yeah. This is new. I'll show you right now just because I have it on hand.
It's Halloween-y.
It's a little Halloween-y. We're getting close.
Sounds like he's a weenie.
Hey, Costco has chocolates and costumes out already.
Man, I don't put enough thought into Halloween, and I wish I did. I have no idea yet what I want to be.
I think I know what I want to do.
Dr. Disrespect?
Well, that I have 2 costume ideas.
What's the other one?
The other one's the Mandalorian.
Oh, sick, because you got the helmet.
Yeah, and I'm considering making the rest of the ensemble myself. Because I already have a Baby Yoda at home too. I just wrap him up in a blanket.
Yeah.
And I found a voice.
He brings a real baby.
I found a voice amp too.
Yeah.
Because his voice is robotic kind of in the.
Yeah.
So I'm
a little darker in the suit.
Nice.
Yeah. I think you should do Mandalorian. I think that's a cooler costume than Dr. Disrespect.
Well,
do you know who Dr. Disrespect is? Yeah, with the mustache.
Yeah.
I mean, it's sick. It's a sick costume. But I think Mandalorian's way cooler. And you got the helmet. But these are Seb's nails.
Oh, dang. Yeah. Evil eye. I like that. I actually really like that.
I left the ring finger
Left
blank.
the ring finger free, yeah. Yeah. Got a little ghost on mine. Anyways, this is from Kids See Ghosts. It's a Kanye album. Well, Kanye and Cudi album. Sorry. It's a Kids See Ghosts album. That's their duo group. And the reason why I wanted to get something Kanye related was because Donda came out just 2 days ago now. 3 days ago? 2 days ago. It was Sunday. Today's Tuesday that we're filming. Came out on Sunday. Have you listened to Donda? Don't have to. But I'd recommend it. It's a cool album. It's a cool album, whatever. It's a work of art, man. And it had me so fired up. Like all the different listening parties, there were 3 different versions of it, right? The first one we listened to while we were away in Chilliwack. And then the second one came out like a couple weeks later or a few weeks later. And each version was like a little bit different, right? And so we couldn't tell like, oh, is he ever going to actually put the album out? And what's it going to sound like in the end? But there was so much of it that I was getting like inspired by. A bunch of like topics that I have planned now for the podcast are based loosely off of just like things that came out of the album, just like thoughts and ideas. So then I was like, I want to get something Kanye related on my hands. Yeah. So I went for Kids See Ghosts because it's good colors.
I really like that. Yeah.
That also ties into today's conversation around anxiety. And so I'll start us off with a quote from Kanye West.
Of course.
So give me a sec. I'll pull it up here. So this is a quote from Kanye West in an interview with Zane Lowe. And Zane Lowe is some music guy. He's with like Apple Music or something like that now. But he was like some kind of radio host before. I don't know all the details, but he knows music. And in the interview, Kanye was saying how if every time you tried to think about saying or doing the right thing, you'd live life like it's a test. If you think back to being in school, whether that's high school, whatever, the most stressful days, the most anxious moments were on test days. So when you constantly are thinking, am I saying the right thing? Am I doing the right thing? You're living life like it's a test. And so instead of trying to do the right thing all the time, Kanye is saying how he just does what he feels. His mom, Donda, the album's named after his late mother, said that trying is failing. There is no ifs, woulds, coulds, shoulds. It just is, and we just are. So the whole idea, I guess, of kind of like second guessing what you're doing, what you're saying, how it's being received by a partner in a relationship, that's what brings up this question. So I'm wondering if you ever have any anxieties around the things that you say or do in a relationship and how your partner is going to receive those things.
Big time.
Yeah.
I doubt there's anyone that like doesn't have anxiety.
That's my assumption too. Like I feel like most people do.
I think we talk about anxiety a lot as like a big problem, whereas I feel like it's more normal. Like everyone experiences anxiety to some degree, right?
Yeah.
So for like dating and stuff, like first few dates, I'm like, if the conversation's not like flowing well off the start, which it rarely does, it's exciting when it does. Yeah. But like for the first few dates, I'm like always running things I'm about to say in my head maybe 2 or 3 times.
Really? Hey?
Not every single thing, but like when I'm actively thinking about it, or I want to say the right thing, then I'm running it in my head like a couple of times before I actually want to say it, right? I just want to make sure it sounds like smooth or something. I still want to sound like cool. Or,
that's a real thing though, like the smooth thing.
Yeah.
You know, because you want to come off cool, man.
Of course,
you want to
for sure.
You want to impress a girl if you're out on a date with her too, right?
Good impression. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anxiety is pretty normal, but there's always anxiety for me.
Like I know this, and like it's really, I guess, comforting knowing that you guys go it through.
Fuck.
Cause when especially like the first dates, like, you know, going on your first dates, for the most part, I'm very reserved and I'm very conscious and careful with what I first say. Just cause like I don't want to go full blown out, right? Cause like I've met a couple guys who have been like that, and I don't know, sometimes I'm just like, whoa, this is too much for me. And
there's like dumping so much.
Yeah. And like sometimes it can be too much, and like I don't want to shock them, right? So I'll just like ease my way into it. And I don't know if it's like this for you guys, but like I find myself trying to put myself in like their mindset and like what they like to see if that will fit with my kind of lifestyle and like who I am.
Can you?
So
sorry, finish.
Rude.
No, I was gonna go off on.
No, go ahead.
No, didn't you bring that up as like a topic before? Well, you were going to for one of the episodes where you're like trying to match the energy of the person.
Yeah. Matching the energy is such a real thing too, and so I wanted to ask about that too. Yeah, it's like do you find yourself only revealing information or sharing information that you think they're going to receive well?
Exactly.
Shit, dude.
Yeah. Just because, like, again, like, I want to ease my way into it. And, like, after, for example, like 3-4 dates, and then I feel comfortable opening up, I will. But, I mean, if I think that they're not gonna like me for who I am, then I'll just save myself.
But then, I guess, like, the question I have is, like, how much would you be willing to, I guess, put out there about sharing and being, like, openly you and, like, very authentic, you know, rather than trying to hold back and only share things that you think they're going to receive well for the time being? It's like, how much of it, like, why hold back at all?
Because I'm a Cancer.
You think that plays into it? Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the whole Cancer deal?
Like, hard on the outside, you know, just very guarded. But then, like, you do finally let people in when you feel safe. And I feel like that's totally me.
Do you feel like there's, and this is a question for both of you, do you think that there's any part of it that's almost like you're going to keep yourself with your guard up a little bit, not share too much until they've shared more than you have, and then now it feels like it's okay to now share a little bit more yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. But I feel like that in my experience, that's more of like my introvert side.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go fully put myself out there until the other person has. That's just like a me thing. But I mean, it sounds like it might be a you thing as well.
Yeah, no, like I can get really like crazy and like, you know, sometimes I'm a bit of an airhead and like sometimes I'm really stupid and like
But that's fun though. Like,
I know,
what I mean?
and like, but like some
not
people
being stupid. You're not stupid, but
Yeah.
like just being like
who
whatever
I
you want to be.
am.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I feel like the guys that I usually go for it maybe don't necessarily like that. So
Why do you think not?
I think I am the perfect example of like opposites attract. Like I go for someone who's like completely not like me. I don't know. Sometimes a good thing, sometimes a bad thing. Like, yeah, sure, we attract, but like, will we stick?
So do you feel like that plays into why you might be anxious about what you're presenting to that person, because you already know that you, in your head, you're very different?
Yeah.
You know?
You know what? Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like if you're already playing a game almost from the beginning, and this is the thing that I hate about dating and first dates and the idea of trying to present a certain image to a person on a first date, because to go to Kanye's quote there about just being you and just doing whatever you feel, right? That's hard to do. It's very hard to do, and it's hard to put yourself out there like that.
It's already hard to get a first date.
Yeah,
so like,
yeah. And now you're like, you can't screw this up. You know what I mean? Like you want there to be a second, or you assume you want there to be a second.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I wonder how much that plays into that then, where you're filtering out because you know that in your head, this person's different from me. So I gotta make them think I'm like them.
Yeah.
So that then they let me in. And then if we're still clicking, then that's when you drop the guard a bit.
Exactly. I'm
That's
just
interesting.
Like, hey, this is me. This is the real me.
You fell for my trap.
You asking me about like what I
No,
feel?
what I'd like to know is, was Kanye always like that? It seems like he was always like that.
He seems, yeah. I mean, when you look at like the way that he carried himself, even back to like graduation days, the guy's wearing his stupid shutter shades.
Whoa.
And
Let's take that adjective out of there.
He's wearing the shutter shades.
I used to have those. Could not see a thing. It's like looking through blinds, looking onto the street, looking through blinds. But they're like, not like the blinds where they're like, you know, like you pull the thing and then they're like kind of straight, so you can pretty much see. They're like half,
like slanted.
Like half slanted.
What's the point of these things, man? Not like he did seem to like always be like that, where he just does whatever. But I mean, to a day-to-day thing, it's harder to do. You know, it's harder to, I think, do whatever you want to do, especially when you're meeting someone on a first date. I think that's the nuance of this whole anxiety bit, is there are unique anxieties, I think, that you feel when you are dating. To talk about your point of like thinking about the right thing to say, something I think about a ton before a first date is an outfit. I'm like stressing about that shit. I'll be fucking sitting there and I've got my pants out, and I do the shit where I lay it out. Like I put that shit out like on the bed or whatever, and I got like the pants there, I got the top. I'm like, is this gonna make me look too lumberjacky? Like if I've got like a plaid shirt out or something like that, like, oh, I don't want to do that. I've got my beard right now, so I should wear a t-shirt. But then if it's just a t-shirt, I should be layering. Like you overthink all this stuff to impress somebody you've never even met. Why? You know what I'm saying? Ridiculous.
It's honestly ridiculous.
You see all these things about like how people are like, oh, it's going to be like, if you learn how to not care what people think, you're going to be way more happy. That's so fucking hard.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
is, honestly.
So I wonder like why people like tout that stuff so much. Not that it's like I agree with it. If you
I
could just
definitely
not care,
agree.
it'd be amazing.
Yeah.
But it's natural for you to care, I think. Right? And so I wonder how much of it is just like learning out of that, and is it worth it to learn out of that? Because I get concerned about being a dick. Like if I'm like too nonchalant about everything and I don't care about what other people think. Not that I would be a dick. I don't think I would ever be a dick to random people, but it's like,
Yeah, you might.
I don't know.
throw off
I just
that.
feel like am I gonna? I don't know. Like, how could it? This is the anxiety. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't know how I would then be perceived, but I guess it just comes down to me caring about how I'm perceived. Why I don't need to.
Yeah, why do we care so much?
Why do we
Shave your
care so
beard.
much? Well, I'm
Cut your hair.
saving it. Cut your
Shave your
hair.
hair.
Cut your hair. Would you ever go bald?
No.
No.
I would not.
No. You know what's crazy?
Okay, have you like I've seen myself with the bald filter.
Oh yeah.
It's not cute.
Is
Some
anyone
people some people can really
Some people
pull
really
it
pull it off.
Yeah.
Some women pull it off like
Yeah.
crazy. It's wild.
Yeah,
It's
but-
really
Like a
cool.
model?
No.
Yeah.
like a supermodel or something?
like
Yeah,
a
like a
nice
supermodel.
Bald.
You can do it.
No, I can't.
Imagine this guy
no,
with a shaved head. I don't know.
No.
I don't know how I feel
I
about it.
went for the buzz and like my head just looks like fucking wonky.
You've done a buzz?
Yeah, like when I was way younger.
Yeah.
You've
Yeah.
done buzz.
I've done buzz. Yeah.
Buzz Lightyear.
Not good. I don't know why y'all let me do that thing. Like, your friends are supposed to tell you when you're making a bad decision. It's okay.
Well, now you know.
Now, yeah. Like, after I did it a couple times.
You did it a couple
Anyways.
times.
Yeah, a couple times. Y'all let me get away with that too much. But yeah, I mean, thinking about even just like image and beard and what you're presenting to this person, the things that you're saying, there's a lot of anxieties that I've felt in dating. I am thinking about times where I'm just even anxious about approaching certain conversations. When you're like already situated in dating, right? Like we're talking about first date anxieties. Everybody gets that. It's just first date jitters. You know what I mean? Like coming here to the podcast, you're going to have some anxieties. You know, it's your first time on here. And every time I got to see cabs, I'm freaking out. But once you're comfortable in a space, there are still anxieties that come up. And for me, in my own experience, it's been anxieties around how a partner might receive a conversation around something that's more difficult topic. I'm always worried, like, am I going to say something that might like set them off like even more or something like that? And it's happened with like multiple people who I've been on multiple dates
Are
with.
these like controversial topics? Or?
Not even controversial. It's just like addressing like an elephant in the room, if you will.
At
you
work?
know? No.
Oh,
with
sorry.
Relationships.
Oh,
Yeah. No, not at work, but like people who have gone on multiple dates with. It's like when you get to that point and you're addressing the what are we?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
yeah.
That's always an anxious
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah.
For me.
when is the right time to
When
ask
is
that,
the right time? When is the right time?
I never ask that question.
This just lets it go.
I let it come to me. Is there a right time?
Is there a time
that
that
I
works
care.
better in your head?
I'm trying to think.
It's like a certain number of dates. I guess it would depend on how well you were clicking and clipping.
I feel like it
Nails.
would also depend on if you're seeing other people at the same time too.
Yeah.
If you were, you wouldn't think to have that
exactly.
conversation.
Yeah. True.
Right?
Very
Especially
true.
if both of you are still in the dating pool. You know what I mean?
I don't think I've ever dated someone more than one person seriously at the same time.
I get yeah, sure. I never have either. Yeah. Like for me, if I'm going on like a consistent date with somebody, I'm with them the whole time.
Right? Yeah.
You know what I
Exactly.
mean? Yeah, and I'll spend the time with that until it's like, okay, I don't want to do this anymore. I can do something else.
Yeah, I
You
don't
know?
know. I don't know how the people do it where they have like multiple different conversations and meetups going at the same time. It's a lot to juggle.
It
Yeah,
is a
it
lot
is
to juggle.
actually.
Yeah. Crimey River over here. Fell right into my trap. There he is. Oh man.
Good one. Haha.
But to come back to the point and to the topic and the quote as well, it's to try is to fail, according to Donda, where it's like you're trying to impress, you're trying to get them to think a certain way about you, whatever it might be. It sounds like we've all experienced that, but that sets yourself up for failure sometimes, where if you're not letting yourself just be, then they're learning a different you.
Exactly.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no. I get where you're coming from, or what you're trying to say.
Because
like, imagine if, you did perceive yourself as this person, it doesn't work out. But let's say you rewind and you perceived yourself as yourself.
Yeah.
And it did work out.
And you can second guess if I did something different.
Yeah.
Y'all ever do that? You ever go through your head and you're like,
just like, I could have said this. I should have done that.
That's what the shower's for.
Yeah. This guy doesn't even touch the soap. This gets in there.
I'm just pretending to do everything. I'm just scrubbing my head with just water.
Just thinking the whole time. I should have said that this morning. Oh man, but not yet. Like that's something that I've done many times, and I hate it. I hate going back and thinking if you could have done something differently, would it have worked out differently?
Yeah.
Right. I think about that with my most recent relationship, and it's like, oh, if things had just fallen in line in a different order, maybe things would have been okay. But that's that whole shoulda, coulda, like that's bullshit.
Yeah.
Right? There's no point. It just is, and it is how it is. My mom hates the phrase "it is what it is." I don't know why she hates it, and that's like stuck in my head. It is what it is.
It's very nonchalant. Right?
It is very nonchalant, but I feel like it's a great way to get through life sometimes.
Sure.
Yeah.
If you hang yourself up on what could have been or what you could have done differently, that anchors you a little bit. It can weigh you down, can stop you from moving on. I don't know.
Like Rafiki in Lion King.
Like Rafiki in Lion King.
I forgot what he says.
I thought it was your favorite movie, punk.
It was.
Is?
It is.
No, okay. We got him again. Right into my trap again.
The funny thing is, I listen to that. I watch that scene every once in a while. Because then it leads up into that part where he sees Mufasa in the clouds. Essentially, paraphrasing, he says, don't worry about the past because the past can't hurt you anymore, essentially.
That is very true.
It only hurts you if you let it.
It makes sense. If you ruminate on this stuff, like that's when it starts to bother you, On the point, and you brought up, if you had approached things a different way, more authentically, whatever. You were saying if you had approached things in a more authentic way, would it have worked out differently? Would things have been any different? And so on the idea of second guessing and kind of, I don't know, revisiting things, I want to talk about red flags for a second. So
Throws up in her mouth.
I threw up before we got here. There's another quote from BoJack Horseman. I don't even watch BoJack Horseman, but I saw the quote on TikTok. I get half my shit off of TikTok. I swear to God. But there was another quote on TikTok that I saw, and it was from BoJack Horseman. The quote is, when you look at someone through rose-colored glasses, all the red flags just look like flags. And so on the topic of going back and thinking, oh, if I had done something differently, or if I had seen something differently, or if I had maybe taken like a mental step back and looked at things more objectively, I can get hung up on, could I have noticed a red flag and addressed it prior? But the whole idea here is that when you are like enamored with someone, you're in that phase where you're not wanting to maybe address a negative, or you're not wanting to stop the fun, right? You don't want to get in the way of the whole honeymoon phase of a relationship. Yeah. You might ignore things that otherwise objectively would be red flags, that maybe even your friends might notice as a red flag for compatibility between you and a potential partner. So the question is, when you're in relationships, do you ever even think about red flags, or is that kind of just not a thought until you look back?
So I'm guilty of seeing the red flag and just
turn a blind eye. Just fuck it. Yeah.
In 2016, like, I was at my lowest point in life. I was in a very toxic relationship. And it's crazy because the way that I saw it, like, I saw all these red flags, like so many red flags, like I'd be blind to not
just
see
all
them.
over the goddamn
Seriously,
field.
seriously. But the relationship brought me like happiness, right? So the relationship, I would say, was like 25% happiness, 75% unhappiness.
Shit.
But because I was in such a low point in my life, like, all I was looking for was happiness. So the way I saw it was, oh, I'm 25% happy, not that like I'm 75% unhappy. So, yeah, that's just kind of my experience with ignoring all the red flags at that time.
I can imagine that, like feeling at a point where you're, I don't know, like you're clinging on to the 25.
Yeah.
You know.
And like I was happy with that too.
Mm-hmm.
And then like when the point came where I realized that that I did deserve better, I was also comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, I've been living like this for 3 years.
Right.
I can keep going. Like
Yeah,
I did it for 3
right,
years.
yeah.
For 3 years, right?
Yeah, 3 years is a long time.
Mm-hmm. A long time to be at 25%.
Yeah.
That hurt. Yeah, and I can, I guess, understand, or I can think and imagine and understand your point of like, you get to a point where this is your normal, right? And you might not want to address the bad because did you ever have any fear of like it getting worse if you were to address it?
Well, yeah, just because I was at that low point, like I kid you not, I was like in rock bottom. So like, of course, like while I'm in rock bottom, I also have the mindset like, oh, I'm never gonna find anyone who will like bring me happiness, right? It's so crazy to think about this now because like I'm in a completely different mindset now. Yeah, that's
So even in the relationship at that time, a tough one, you were seeing the red flags and not addressing them because addressing them was worse than accepting the happiness that you were getting at that time.
Yeah, because then that meant that I would not have that 25% happiness.
You would now be looking at the 75.
Yeah.
You'd be looking at the other way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's tough.
Yeah.
How about yourself, Cabs? Do you notice red flags at all during the relationship?
Not really. It's not like I'm like looking for red flags or any flags in particular. For example, I mean, huge red flag, but like it was complicated for my first relationship. Like I was hanging out with her while she was still dating another dude, her boyfriend at the time, and we were just becoming really good friends. And then we ended up making out like a couple times. So obviously that's a huge red flag,
right?
Because
the fact that she's doing that with her boyfriend at the time,
should mean that
she'll do it if she starts dating.
Yeah, most likely, which is eventually kind of what happened, not to the full extent, but that's kind of what happened towards the end of our relationship. Other than that, it's not like I'm not stressing about red flags. I feel like after that, everyone that I've dated seriously after that was like, I was never worried about red flags afterwards. I knew what to look for.
Not worried in the sense that you're not
like every girl I seriously dated after that first relationship I was never worried about seeing, or like I was never worried about like trust or like any of those sort of things.
Sure. So know? Like that particular red flag wasn't one that you needed to look out for.
Like for the following relationships. Yeah, no, definitely not. Yeah, we just I guess I'm just attracting a sort of person now which is nice because I know what I'm looking for in a partner, but I'm also not looking for a partner.
Right.
But I don't know, I'm just rambling now.
No, that's fine, man.
Yeah.
When I thought
that's honestly really interesting to hear though.
Yeah.
Like that you're not necessarily looking for red flags, because like
to me it would be like if you've gone through those experiences, now that would be like the front of mind,
like a traumatizing kind of
yeah. I guess it depends on the severity and how you I guess dealt with that trauma at the time from that red flag when you learned about it. I think this is to use the same analogy of rose-colored glasses and seeing all red flags as just flags. I think that as you leave a relationship, you now look back and you saw the red flags, right? Or maybe you were in it and you saw it then too, but now out of it and looking back, you can definitely see it, right? I think that as you carry on into the next relationships, those red flags are going to stand out even with the rose-colored glasses. You will still recognize those things. I think that you'll be more aware of it. When I wrote out this question and was thinking about this question, I was thinking of this in more the terms of I've had anxieties about addressing what I think would be a red flag even in the moment, because I would talk to the guys or whoever about what's going on in whatever relationships I was in, and I would say, oh, this is happening, or this has been going on, this has been said, whatever. They might tell me, yo, that's not okay, you got to do something about that, whatever. But I would be so uncomfortable with the idea of dealing with the conflict that I wouldn't want to do it. I would get anxious even thinking about the conversation. When I get told like, hey, I want to talk about something, my mind, I feel sick to my stomach when someone says they want to talk.
Yeah.
And it fucking throws me for a loop. It just kills my mood, and it makes me fucking freak out, and I'm just like so concerned about what they're gonna say. I start building the entire scenario in my head before they've even spoken a word to me.
I can confirm this happens with Reuben.
Well, all the time, man. And it's like my mind just goes absolutely nuts.
But those are the worst words to
I
read
hate
or
it.
hear from someone.
I hate it. And I don't know why I hate it, because how else do you approach it?
Yeah.
What else are you supposed to say? You're not going to say, hey, fuck you, this is what happened. No, you're going to be like, hey, I want to talk about this. And that's the mature thing to do. That's what you're told to do. But I hate when someone does it. Don't fucking say that shit to me. I don't want to talk.
You got to give a little hint at least.
I remember at work, one of my educators emailed me, and she's like, hey, Shandy, like, when you have a time, can we chat? I kid you not, like right away I called her, and she's like, oh, that was fast. Because I hate those words.
Terrified.
Like, I can't. I just need it. I need you to tell me right now.
And what was it? Was it a good thing, bad thing?
No, it was just like miscommunication with like medications.
Oh, I feel like that could be, could be serious.
Well, I stopped.
It's just a little mix up.
Yeah, no, that's okay. Privacy or whatever. But to your point about that, it's like in all aspects of your life, people have that conversation with you of like, oh, I want to have a talk.
Yeah, exactly.
Or I want to talk to you about
not
this.
Just your significant other.
I fucking hate that shit. Because the immediate assumption is negativity. I think that's kind of ingrained in a lot of people, is the idea of feedback, right? That's essentially what it is feedback is it's going to be negative. I want to give you feedback is a negative thing. Nobody wants to hear that.
No. Yeah, because when it's good, no one's going to say anything, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Like when you get your test back and you did really well, it's just a bunch of fucking check marks.
Yeah. You're good.
You hear someone say,
oh my God, I just thought of the biggest bullshit. You go to a doctor, you know, you want to get checked out, right? You want to go to the doctor, you got to get your test done. Everybody at a young age, you should go and get STI checks done regularly, and I think you should just get a set yourself a baseline. That way, when you meet new partners, you know if you're good to go.
Yeah.
Clean as a whistle. Anyways, what was I gonna say? When you go to a doctor, right, and like if I'm waiting for those test results, right, they'll tell you, we'll call you if there's a problem. If we don't hear from us, you're good.
Yeah.
What the fuck kind of bullshit is that? I'm trying to know. I want to know what's going on, and you're not going to tell me unless it's bad, so that I know that the phone call, as soon as I see a phone ring, it's like an unknown number, I'm like, holy fucking shit, I've got HIV. I'm dying.
They've got people to call, man.
Well, fuck off. Call me and tell me I'm good. You know how quick a phone call would be? Hey, yeah, your test, you're good to go. Thank you so much. Or just hang up.
Just a text maybe as well.
Yeah, you could just send a text.
Just send a happy face.
Yo, you're good. Colon bracket.
Your colon's good. Colon bracket.
But that's what I'm saying, though. That anxiety comes up in that shit, too. You're in a relationship and you want to have that talk. Nobody wants to have a talk like that. And I guess this is the whole thing about like healthy relationships. Communication's key. You hear that all the time. Communication's key. But I guess you learn how each other communicates. I don't know how I would expect anybody to communicate with me if I freak out like that when they say they want to talk. You know what I mean? There wouldn't be a healthy way to approach it.
So you don't like confrontation?
I don't like confrontation. I really don't like confrontation.
Yeah.
It bothers me. It really upsets me.
Can you confront someone else?
I can confront somebody else. I hate them confronting me. And sometimes I won't confront somebody else. I get anxious about that too.
Yeah.
Because if I know how a person, a friend, whoever, partner reacts to a negative thing, if I've seen them react in a way that kind of like made me feel even worse about myself to a negative thing, or like, oh shit, I shouldn't have brought that up. You know what I mean? Like that kind of feeling. Then I get even more hesitant to bring up further negative things. And so that can create a huge bottleneck.
That could be a problem.
That can be a big problem.
Yeah.
And like I've felt that in dating, right? Like I'll say something to a person one time, and if they don't like what I said, or it's like it created an argument and I didn't like how that argument went, I am less likely to address other things that are bothering me in the relationship going forward, which can let them linger, which can let them build. It can let them get worse. Mm-hmm. And then by the time you do bring it up, why the fuck didn't you tell me sooner is the answer you get. Yeah. And now it's back on you.
Yeah.
And now even more, I'm like, fuck, I don't want to ever do this again. Right? I hate that.
That's kind of shitty how that works, right?
It is shitty.
At the end of the day, you're just kind of like, you're more so just like worried about.
I care about how they're gonna feel about how I say something.
Yeah, so and you're communicating too, right? Like,
but it's like communicating at your own pace. But it's like it didn't work for me. Yeah,
because in your perspective, it's almost like you have to be a dick in order to do the right thing.
Yeah, that's I guess what I get locked up on is the whole idea that feedback is negative, right? When in reality, it's you're just bringing up how you feel. Yeah. You're just saying what's on your mind. Yeah. That's the point of this shit.
It's so hard,
right? And it is hard.
Is it?
It is hard. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. I think that this works well with the next thing I want to talk about, which is like self-sabotage a little bit. Not wanting to bring up something that makes you uncomfortable because it makes you uncomfortable and for fear of how the other person is going to react to it. I have felt this way. I don't know if y'all have felt this way, where my inability to communicate or my lack of communication has created more of a problem than anything. And so I'm self-sabotaging by keeping things to myself that I think would be a problem. I've now made a problem.
Yeah.
You know, the example that I shared with you, with both of you before we came in and started filming today was your partner goes to a party or your partner goes out to a club or something like that and you're not there. It's like, yeah, go have fun. But there's a little video that's like,
I hope you have the worst
I hope this like isn't good or I get anxious about other dudes hitting on a girl that I'm dating. I get like insecure about that. And so that makes me anxious that like stuff's going to happen. And like, I don't know what's going on out there. Like, I know men.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I know how men are.
Yeah.
I know what all of them are thinking. Oh, I'm out with the girls. And oh, there are these couple guys here. They're friends with the girls. And in my head, I'm like, they're not fucking friends.
Every guy at the club is the same.
Exactly. We're all the same. Scumbags, man.
And as soon as we step in the club, we're all the same.
Seriously though. Yeah, we're all shit. But I'm wondering if you ever feel like you've been in moments like that where you're making things worse for yourself at the end of the day, even though you might not have thought that you were at the time.
100%. Yeah, I used to be a little crazy. So my ex would tell me exactly where he's going, who he's going to be with. But for some reason, it's still just, there's something there where it's like, oh, like, he's not with those people or like, he's not where he is. And I think I notice this with girls more, where like they'll just be calling, just straight calling to see if they'll pick up or whatever. And I was actually talking about this with my friend earlier, and I think it just comes from insecurities, honestly, just being so insecure. But I don't know what it is with the girls. Like, I don't think I've ever heard of a boyfriend like spam calling.
I've heard of it. I've heard of that shit. Yeah, for sure.
I've heard of it too.
And I think it is insecurity. Nothing wrong with having insecurities, okay? As long as you can address them and notice them, and if you want to, work on them, you know?
At least reflect.
Yeah. But no, I've heard of guys that do that where it's just like nonstop.
It's crazy because you think it like, well, at least I think it comes from a good place. And like you're trying so hard to protect the relationship and whatever, but it kind of ends up ruining the relationship or like putting a strain on the relationship.
It's a self-sabotage. Yeah. Where it's like now, like if I was the guy in that position, I don't want to go out anymore.
Yeah, right.
Because I don't want to deal with this every night I go out.
Yeah, exactly.
But then now I'm going to be upset because I don't get to go see my friends. I don't get to go hang out with my friends as often.
And a lot of the times, like, you know, we go psycho or like worried all for nothing. You know,
like nothing was happening. We were straight up doing what we said we were doing.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, I've felt that before, where it's like I've bailed on guys' nights because I was worried about how the person was feeling about me not hanging out with them that day. Yeah. You know what I mean? On multiple occasions, different times, different people, right? So it happens.
I feel like that's such. This is just my perspective. I feel like that's such like high school shit.
It is. Yeah, it is.
Honestly,
I mean, obviously, I've done that before. I've experienced that. I've had my part in that a little bit before, but like, there's so much of this stuff where I just feel like it's so unnecessary.
It honestly is so unnecessary.
It's hard to like break that habit too. especially if you've been doing that before. Yeah, no, in my first relationship, I guess she would call me a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't think it was annoying at the time until things started like piling up towards the end. And then the past few, whenever that would happen, I'd notice now that I'd get like kind of pissed right away. Not like mad actively, but like kind of close the doors a little bit and be like, because I'm a bit like you. I don't like confrontation because I know it's going to lead to some sort of argument, because I feel like that's just not normal behavior when you like.
And at the same time, it's like, why is there confrontation about something like that too? That can piss you off.
Yeah. They're like, yeah, just the confrontation itself is unnecessary, I suppose. But I've gotten really good at like not self-sabotaging. For example, when I recently saw my ex, she put up a few pictures with a guy that she's seeing recently. It took me off guard a bit, and I think I mentioned this to you guys. It took me off guard a bit, and I was like, it was more shook that I even got uncomfortable about it rather than seeing the pictures. And then I saw like his IG handle, and I was close to clicking it. And I was like, no, I don't need to.
Don't go down that hole.
I was like,
wow.
I was very close, and I was like, no, you're better than that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I've gone pretty good.
Wow, man.
Nice.
Bro, I've done some
Mad props.
Thanks,
that is
yo.
mad props. That is mad props, dude. It takes a lot of self-control. I have a
does,
shit
it
example about myself related to something similar to that since my breakup. When we had gone through a breakup, and like we were both on like dating apps for a little bit, right? And ran into each other, saw that she was on there, did the whole like match to say hi bullshit. That, first of all, weak. Come on, man. Resist. But anyways, did. And then after that, I did some real whack anxiety bullshit. I knew what her follow count was on Instagram. I was no longer following her anyways. Like, it was a private account, so I had to go and look it up, right? And I knew what the follow count was. And I would go back and look at it and see if it went up, and it would go up like 1 or 2 numbers, and I would be like, fuck, is that like some guy that she like just matched with on the app? Blah, 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 blah. Like, my mind would again go fucking nuts.
Yeah.
The shit, like, my point of me saying this is that guys do this stuff too.
No, I can
you know
totally
what I mean? Men
relate.
do this shit too, and it's like it makes you feel like garbage.
Yeah.
I feel like garbage when I think back about
yeah.
moments like that. It's like, why did you care? Why did I create more stress for myself by doing this? But it's like I was anxious about it and like frustrated or sad or scared or like, what's going on? Like, I don't know how to like wrap my head around how I was even feeling at that moment, you know? But it was just like, I don't want to see something happen.
That's
like,
so funny you bring that up, because I just, not recently, but I did match with my most recent ex on Bumble.
Oh.
It was a joke.
See, this is the thing. Is it?
No, it was. We were talking, and then he found me. He's like, wait, hold up. Let me find you real quick. So he did. And then we matched, and I was looking through his profile, and I was like, oh, this is really cool how we can like both laugh at like looking at each other's Bumble profile. And then I caught myself going back to his profile and checking if like he updated his quotes, changed the pictures. And I was like, ew, like, what am I doing? I was like, why do I care so much? And then like there was one quote that really bugged me, and I brought it up to him. I'm like, ew, like, why would you say that? And I was like, why do I care?
And he updated it. Like, that was after the match. You're not supposed to mention it anymore.
Exactly. And it's like, we're not together. Why do I care?
Yeah. No, I would do the same thing. I would back and I would see like, are the pictures in a different order?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a new photo. No way. What the fuck?
Yeah.
I'd be tripping out.
Yeah. It was not a healthy move. So
No.
Unmatched.
No. At that point, that was delete.
Yeah.
I got off the shit. I was like, I can't do this. I can't fucking do this.
You unmatched?
Man.
Yeah.
Good.
I just delete the app. Nah. But yeah, that whole self-sabotage idea, I guess that plays out in and out of relationships, right? You create problems for yourself that aren't necessarily real sometimes. They didn't have to be there, but you've created something out of your own anxiety or discomfort or insecurity or whatever it was. You've now made a problem. Didn't have to be there. Yeah. This last little bit to kind of like start to tie things back together we've talked about our own experience and how we look at things, and you might see red flags in the moment and not want to address them. You might not look out for red flags anymore because you're just attracting someone who isn't creating a red flag. That's amazing. Fucking awesome. For myself, I just look back at the red flags and just think about them afterwards. And I'm the one who's now more conscious looking forwards of these red flags. It is what it is. It happened the way it did. And now if I go into another relationship, if it happens again, I will address it as much as I hate confrontation. Because I'm learning to be someone who addresses things more often.
Especially if it like happens like not right away, you know, like red flag comes up later.
And then that's even harder. It's like further down the road, how important is that red flag? Is it worth ending things?
Right?
Is it worth bringing up to a point where, hey, this really bothered me at the time when it happened before? How big of a deal do you make it? You know, I guess red flags have different severity too. Right?
How deep is the flag stuck into the ground?
Yeah. Is it just jamming right through you, or is it just surface level? Little acupuncture flag, you know?
Is it a toothpick, or
it's
is
one
it
of
a
those.
dagger?
It's one of those little sandwich flags, you know, that goes on top. And
Well,
it's
maybe
like,
you pull it out and it has spikes on the end of it.
yeah, barbs rips as it comes, right? And that's the red flag that as you rips as it comes. But that's the red flag. If you pull it out, that's like when you address that red flag, that's the one that's creating even more hurt, right? But the question that I had is, as much as we can look back on our own selves, that's when you reflect and you learn what to take moving forward. But what we can do with our friends, and I think everybody is good at it, is point out when there's a red flag for them. But why is it so much easier to do that for somebody else? I think it's just because you're not involved directly. But at the same time, why don't we listen to that advice when it's given?
So I feel like I'm going through this right now. When we give advice to our friends, we're only thinking with our heads, right?
Our genitals are not in the play.
Our genitals are out.
They are completely out.
Yeah.
And like the things that our friends tell us, we already know, right? When we tell ourselves those things, we're also dealing with like our heart fighting back and like wanting the complete opposite of what our head wants. So I think that's why, because I'm going through that right now.
Right. Where you're not wanting to acknowledge what you already know to be true.
Yeah.
But people are going to tell you anyways. And it's when someone tells you that thing, what do you say to them?
I'm like, I know this. I know this.
There's I feel like I might have mentioned it on like a way earlier episode, but it's like when someone's telling you something and the way that you respond is either like, yeah, you're right, or yeah, I know, stuff like that. You're not acknowledging it and you're not going to act on it. You're just getting past that conversation. Yeah. Thanks for fucking telling me that I'm in a shit spot. Now you go fuck off because I'm going right back in there. I'm going to make it worse. No.
But sometimes there are times where like I do tell my friends and I'm like, yeah. And then they hit me with like something that's like, oh, like, yeah, snap out of it. Think with your head. Don't think with your heart.
But that's boring. I'd rather think with my heart. I'd rather get into shit.
Yeah, it plays into the quote about the rose colored glasses, right? Like it's the same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the same thing. Like it's you're not inclined to bring up or confront when you're right in the middle of it, you know?
Yeah.
It's like a tornado, but you're in the eye of the storm, right? You don't see any destruction that's happening around you.
Yeah.
You're in the peaceful part, right? Dude. Everyone around you is like, yo, look at that shitstorm over there. And you're like, what shitstorm?
That's perfect, dude. It's
pretty good.
You're in the fucking eye of the storm, man. Yeah. Everything around you is going to fucking shit, but you're all right because I'm in the middle right now.
I mean, it's pretty dramatic comparison, but
it's a good analogy. It's a really good analogy for it because everybody from the outside is going to look in and think that there's death in there. You're not walking through that thing, but you're standing in the center of it. You're all right. You know, that's crazy how that works too with tornadoes. I wonder how, like, the science of it. I don't know.
Yeah. How big is that?
How big is that eye?
You ever watch
Tornado?
Day After Tomorrow?
No.
Is there a movie called Tornado? Isn't it called Twister?
Twister. Twister. Yeah, it's Twister where they're like storm hunters. Yeah.
But was it The Day After Tomorrow?
And never watched it. But
no?
I know the movie, but I never watched it.
You haven't watched it?
No.
Oh, damn. not really classic, but
It's kind of a classic.
pretty cool movie.
Yeah. Is that the point of this story?
There's like a bunch of hurricanes going on. There's one ice storm, like blizzard thingy going on, and they realize the eye of the storm's coming, and like everything just goes still for like however big the storm was. It was like the eye of the storm was like a minute or like 30 seconds.
I've seen that scene.
Yeah, and they have like 30 seconds to get like one place to the other, otherwise they'll freeze.
Interesting.
Pretty intense.
Pretty intense stuff. Yeah. But to the point of that question, I think that's it. I don't think there's any other answer you could give to this, which is that it's from the outside. You're thinking with your head. Yeah. Right? You're looking at everything very logically and just taking the information you're given.
Yeah. Like, I mean, when we talk to our friends, they only ever hear the bad things, right?
Yeah. Caps has said that before, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. So then, like, I mean, we don't see just the bad things. We also think of the good times and...
Yeah, you're only really sharing the really like interesting stuff.
Yeah, exactly. The juicy stuff.
Yeah, the juicy stuff.
Yeah, this is the fight I got into this week. Y'all are going to hear about it. And then now for the friends, they've heard about 3 fights over the last month and they've heard nothing positive. So now they're just thinking, what the fuck are you doing? Right? They're not seeing the 25%. They're seeing the 75.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
It's a 75, bro.
And how the fuck are you seeing the 75, man? Anyways, that's all the questions that I had ready. But the point of our conversation is that all of us deal with these anxieties all the time, right? Or not all the time, but at some point in our lives, everybody has things that they're insecure about. And I guess that's kind of the root of anxiety, is that you're insecure about something. You're insecure about how someone is going to react or how someone's going to see you on a first date, midway through a relationship, whatever it might be, right? These anxieties come up and I don't know, they're not fun to deal with, but I find comfort in knowing that other people go through similar things. It's crazy when you start bringing it out.
Yeah, right.
You realize everybody's going through the same shit. The outfit thing, fuck that. I'm worried. I get worried about the exact length of my beard. If I have flyaways coming out, I will spend another 5 minutes just going and just like getting rid of them with a little trimmer. It sucks.
That's
it
crazy.
sucks. It absolutely sucks. I worry about. I always will eat gum, like minty gum, 5 minutes before arriving to my destination.
Exactly 5 minutes.
Almost exactly. And I know, like, I'm looking at the map and like, all right, I got 5 minutes, gonna chew it because I don't want to be chewing fresh gum. Right? I want to spit it out. I want it to sound not like or smell not like I tried to smell good, but this guy must just be naturally minty. Right? There's no shot, but this guy must be naturally minty. I'll do that as I'm getting out of the car, walking out. I got the lip balm going, throw it back in the car.
Nice.
Crazy shit.
I usually do the lip balm as well.
Yeah, it feels good.
It does.
Yeah. You do the Vaseline in the armpits?
No.
I'm
did.
playing.
I did now, though. Forgot to put on deodorant.
So damn slippery. Fucker. Shandy, thank you so much for coming on your mental.
Welcome.
I appreciate you being here, taking the time out of your busy schedule. Are you working tomorrow?
No, I'm back on Saturday. I have a little bit of a break, thankfully.
Okay, that's nice. I got
Nice.
6 days off, as I was sharing. Gonna be a good time. We're filming a
working
lot.
tomorrow?
You're working for me.
Yeah,
You
well, I'm
bastard.
working and working.
Okay.
Double shift.
Double time.
Split shift.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate you coming over and just listening to us ramble about our own shit, telling us about your stuff. It's great stuff. I like
nice
getting
having you.
things out there. It's good to share in our
It's really interesting to hear. I'm
sorrows.
always curious about. I'm surprised I never really asked you guys or.
Why would
ever-
you?
I don't know.
Yeah, we never ask you guys
We never ask.
or the girls or anything.
Yeah.
What the heck?
Welcome to On Your Mental. That's the point.
Mind blown.
Anyways, yes, I've got this week off coming up, and Kabir and I, for people watching at home, we're going to be working fairly hard to get a bunch of stuff filmed and get a good little schedule going here. We'll see if it plays out.
See how this
I don't know how it's going to work, but yeah, got a lot of good stuff coming for y'all. Thank you, everybody, for watching and listening. If you enjoyed this week's episode, like, comment, subscribe, whatever. And we'll see y'all next week. Peace.